All right. Let's take a look at our great illustrations. So we're going to take a look at the golden age of illustrations, which was during the Industrial Revolution. This is when technology started to advance, and one of the technologies was in the printing process. It became quicker, it became higher quality, and they were starting to print in color. Then you had the wealth of the families starting to increase. And what it ended up doing was creating this demand for children's book and illustrated books. And what ended up happening because of that was just blossoming of awesome illustrators. So one of the illustrators we're going to take a look at today is Arthur Rackham. So Arthur, he was born in London, England in 1867. He died in 1939. And his specialty was pen and ink and watercolor. And one of his main clients that he did a lot of prints for, a lot of illustrations for, were the fairy tales for Brothers Grimm. So we're going to take a look at a couple of these examples. So the first example we're going to take a look at is Snow White in Rose Red. Now, if you take a look at this illustration, it is gorgeous. Look at the line work in this. I mean, you have this beautiful line work. What he's done with the watercolor, he's made most of the colors kind of monotone, and he has highlighted the main characters of the illustration in brighter colors. That really draws your eye into it. And then he's kind of framed out a little bit on the top with darker pen work. So this whole composition, these two girls really pop out, and then you got this little splash of red down at the bottom of the other little character. So this story is about two sisters who are very close and live together with their mother in a little cottage. The sisters, Snow White and Rose Red, are named because of the color of the clothes they wear. So the story emphasizes themes of kindness, bravery, and the bond between siblings. It's a great illustration. The next one of my favorites, Spindle, Shuttle, and Needle. So you can take a look at this composition. It is gorgeous. Zoom in here a little bit. You can see the pen work in the stone, how he's used the ink to just really create some nice dark shadows. And one of my favorite is how he has created so much movement with the hair and how it swirls around. And he's created this curve in the wall, which just kind of brings your whole eye looking to see what you can see around the corner. Gorgeous, gorgeous illustration. So this particular one, this tells a story of a hardworking and kind orphan girl who lives with her grandmother. The girl is skilled in spinning, weaving, and sewing. And she spends her days working diligently with her spindle, shuttle, and needle. So the story highlights the themes of hard work, skill, and resourcefulness. So our next one, and I love this illustration, it's gorgeous. So this is the hut in the forest. And one thing you will notice with this illustration is how he has brought the eye into the center by creating all this darkness around with the pen and ink, and creating these light areas in the center by really just leaving out any type of line work. And then he throws a little bit of splash of color in it. But I mean, if you zoom in and you look at the wood grain, you got the cow and the chicken in the background, and you got the old man with his beard so long it's kind of hanging down, and it's just, I just love all the detail in it. So the hut in the forest, the story revolves around a young girl who is sent by her father to seek shelter in a hut deep in the forest. The girl is kind and hardworking, and she meets three animals, a rooster, a hen, and a cow, who live in the hut. She takes care of them, showing kindness and compassion. So the story emphasizes themes of kindness, compassion, and the rewards of a good heart. But the illustration is just, it just makes the story. I mean, you can see the whole story just within the drawing. Next one that's a bit more comical, I think. So this is called The Three Surgeons. And if you take a look how he has used just minimalist on this wall, he's put a little bit of texture in it, and it makes it look like, the old European stucco finishes. And then I love the sign up here. Look at the detail on the sign. It literally looks like planks of wood that have been hand painted. So the style of the character, looks very folk-like versus what his normal characters look like. And then again, he does such a marvelous job with pulling you into the picture. Because if you look closer, you can see inside the little tavern. And you've got the dishes in the background, you got the waitress walking around, and then you got one of the doctors. It looks like he's stealing some of the money off the table where they're playing poker. So this story tells of 3 surgeons who each boast about their surgical skills to prove who's the best. And they agree to perform a challenge to remove parts of their bodies and reattach them the next day. So this story really revolves around boasting about one's abilities and bragging, and then what happens when you brag and it doesn't turn out the way you want it to turn out. So these are some of his many, many illustrations. They are fantastic work. I personally am a fan of pen and ink, but Arthur has done a great job with all his illustrations. I highly recommend take a look at more of his work, dive into it, and you will just love what he's done. So let's head on over to our next segment. I've got this book. I'm telling you, you're going to love it. So here comes Name That Book.